I would never lose confidence again. The reason why is like I built something from nothing to something, then lost it again, and then built something from nothing again.
Jasper,
Yes.
what were those sort of first year like becoming Jazz van D?
It was a wild ride.
You were living the dream
Yeah,
as far as
a lot of guys.
DJing.
Yeah, a lot of guys told me that I'm completely nuts doing that purposely.
Yeah.
It's some people call you crazy.
Yeah.
Like literally crazy. They're like, why?
Mhm.
It was a very dark time for myself because I was in this doubt phase that I am like, am I able to do this fully? You know, like, is this something that I can like build on? I would not advise this to anybody, and especially not my daughter. But
Jasper,
yes,
I like to start all my podcasts with the same question because usually it sets the narrative for how our conversation continues.
okay,
And that question is, are you happy?
I am currently the happiest I've ever been. So yeah, it's yeah, I couldn't be much more happier than I am. Daughter, wife, everything in order. So
Because the next question would be, what in your opinion is required to live a happy life?
Um, yeah, that's of course different for everybody, but in my opinion, over the past, like I've lived a quite turbulent life, um, been in a lot of roller coasters. So yeah, if you asked me 10 years ago, what's required for happiness, I'd probably say like a bunch of money and some big ass car and a house.
Yeah.
If you ask me that right now, it's like totally different because happiness is like you grow as a person and you grow in a lot of factors, you know, like in your life. So right now, required for happiness for at least me, but that's completely just on me, is everything having your financial situation kind of in order to release the stress on the family, so everybody can eat. That's kind of where you want to go. Everybody can eat without having to worry about the next month. And that's a very important thing for me for happiness because that just releases your stresses. And besides that is everybody's health.
Yep.
It's like everybody that's close to me is like kind of healthy in a way that they can live a long life. That's kind of where my happiness is.
Do you think we should chase happiness?
Um, well, in my case, it just the moment I stopped searching for it, it came to me.
Right.
So should you chase it? I think you should put your lives together in a way of like that's kind of where what I've learned in the past 10 years is like just build your life to a way that like kind of your affairs are in order in a way of like, hey, if I want to search for it or I need to search for it, I can.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people can't. So it's like that's the problem where like the depressions and like at least for me, like when I did not had time to connect with me because I was so busy working or flying or whatever, then you think like, hey, I'm chasing this happiness because I'm working my ass, I'm flying across the world, doing my due. If I pay my due and then it just didn't come, you know, because you were just too busy living the work life or whatever. And the moment I stopped doing that and actually stopped chasing the happiness and just do what I actually like and just releases the stress a little bit, it all came to me. It just without asking.
Yeah.
It just came and it just came in like it multiplied, it compounded so fast on me. It was like, wow, it's like of course I'm very lucky to have found my wife and just incredible mother and really helped me also grow in life. So it's like
Yeah.
I just count myself as a lucky guy. It's just like some factors needs to be are lucky, you know.
Yeah.
Like you need to and as my grandpa always saying, and I'm gonna translate this from this is kind of a Dutch saying, but like translate this to English is everybody walks against a lump of gold.
Yeah.
Just not everybody notice it, and that's kind of where that always resonated with me. Is like just keep your eyes open and keep your head to the ground, and if you bump with your feet into a gold lump or like a stone or something like that, something valuable, just appreciate that and take that on with full both hands instead of like, I don't know if this is something, and just walk on.
Yeah. From what I know from your story already, I instantly see the similarity with, yeah, between what you obviously ended up doing. But before we get into that, I have a sort of guiding research hypothesis for this podcast that I'm trying to figure out,
Okay.
and that is that passion gives purpose.
Yes, I agree.
How, or first of all, how would you describe your passion?
Well, my passion is freedom in a way. That's kind of my passion, and doing just daily what I like. Like I, I'm very I kind of like a professional no sayer. It's almost like some people like, especially in the beginning, I had to learn how to say no in a way of like in a professional way or in a private way without like people are thinking you're a dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way,
Yeah, yeah.
like, but if you say, yeah, I've just learned to say no to all the stupid stuff and just make all the fun stuff work for me, like, and I was just obsessed with like getting that sorted in a way.
Hmm.
Like I started, my goal when I was like 15, 16, 17 probably would be becoming a real estate agent. That was kind of where
Okay.
my aim was towards, if my music didn't pick up as what eventually happened. So then I would become a real estate agent because I'm really intrigued, and it's of course mainly because of my family, but we're all into real estate, and I've seen this from very young age. So always very interested to me to how real estate works and what kind of like how that uh, what's behind all that
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and how valuation works, and like how you invest in all that stuff. So it was like, and I still do that to today. The building where we are in right now is bought, and it's not rented. So it's like I still have that kind of passion that I had there,
Hmm.
and I do that right now. I still have that. And I'm not a real estate agent,
No.
far from,
Yeah.
but I do still have the interest for it. So it's
Yeah.
like I have that still in my life. It's just music came along.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, the music industry is just, I was just ridiculously lucky that I met a guy called Saudi and Sunnery, and they both, and Ryan, I have to credit Ryan of course as well, but um those guys, those three guys, they just stood for me, and when I was 17 years old, and just like exploded my career in a
Hmm.
way, like it just, from being 17 and just doing parties here in the town, like in our hometown, and being quite well known in the hometown, to being very, very known very known in the Netherlands, in the
Yeah.
dance scene. So
Yeah.
it's just like in a matter of like a couple months.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was, I have to thank them for that. But like,
How
but
did that like first connection occur?
that occurred because of I was playing in the resident club. I was a resident here in the club in Leeuwarden, and I booked a lot of artists, or I helped book a lot of artists, and they, I don't know if I helped with booking them, but it doesn't matter. Eventually, they were there, and I played before them,
Yeah.
and they were quite early on the night, and because they had a festival where they played before, and they were just listening to my set, and they were like, "What the fuck is this guy playing?" Because at that time, uh, for at least for them, like having a proper DJ play in front of them that understood the kind of like unwritten laws in
Hmm.
in music, um, was kind of rare.
Yeah.
So it was, that resonated with them, and we chatted, and we vibed, and that friendship is still very strong till today. I still work with them
Yeah,
today,
exactly.
so it's
Yeah.
like I that just, it's very special, something that we found each other when I was 17, so that's, now I'm 31 right now, so that's
Yeah.
14 years ago,
Mm.
and we still work ridiculously close today, and yeah, that kind of exploded, so I had to jump on that opportunity, what I just told you about, by
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
that lump of gold, and I just had to jump on that opportunity because it was just, I was so hyped about it. It just took all my attention. Like school was, I never like I never finished any school, for
Yeah.
instance.
Yeah.
Like I would not advise this to anybody, and especially not my daughter. But yeah, I was like, I finished high school, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And then of course, I had my lucky breakthrough when I was 17, and just everything excelled from there. Kind of, like, and I just never like my parents gave me a year. They told me
Would
like,
you call it luck?
well, in a way, there's like uh me taking the opportunity and complete like setting it towards me.
Yeah.
That's not luck. That's hard work and being smart about stuff, and just also just have patience and a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with luck. But them being in the room there,
Of course.
that's kind of a factor of luck. I have to admit that it's some sort of luck. Some people call it faith
Yeah.
or destiny or
Yeah.
stuff like that. But like I just call that luck because they could also be there and listening to me. I was like, it's
Yeah.
fun, but whatever.
Fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, so that in a way that is some sort of luck, and I just
Yeah.
took that opportunity, and that's something that's not luck. So it's like there's factors towards the whole story, what is luck and what is not
Of
luck, but
course. Yeah.
not everything is lucky. Like if you are lucky, you have to convert it.
Yeah. So eventually, you obviously go on and become your own artist. Jazz Fondue was
Yes,
your
correct.
artist name.
Yes,
What were those sort of first year like becoming Jazz Fondue?
it was a wild ride. To be honest, like,
Sorry, just in between. How long did you were you like performing
so
artist then?
before retired artist life, I was active for. I started DJing, of course, very young age, but became professional when I was 17, and I stopped when I was shy of 23 or
Right.
around 23. I'm just maybe, yeah, 23.
Yeah.
So I was that's like around 6 years.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that was a fun time. To be honest, like there's a lot of because there was also a lot of depressing times, and there was like a lot of hard times and amazing times. It was like such a mix of emotion if I think back about that time, because there's also a lot of like complete I skipped times, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like I lost because it was so heavy in a way, like for my body, for my mind, for everything. It's like that I just have like I have beautiful memories, but I also have like complete skips of like months and months that I can not recall
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened in those months.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just very weird because you say like it feels like some sort of dementia or like something like that. You just completely erased some sort of memory.
Yeah.
It just it I try to remember it, but it
Yeah.
doesn't come back to me. So it's like, and it's not the drug use or anything
No.
like that, because it was like I was completely clean in those times. So it just not had nothing to do with that. Uh, and also I was like, of course I love to have a drink, but I was very fortunate. My parents told me on a young age, or teach me on a young age, what kind of over drug use is does to you.
Yeah.
And I saw very people very close to me lose their complete shit because of drug
Right.
overdoses or drug uses and all that stuff. So at a very young age, so that kind of like showed me that kind of not want
It's
to
not
do
worth
that,
it. Yeah.
kind of not want to do that. So it's yeah. So so that was kind of wild the first 6 years. Beautiful memories, but a lot of hard work, flying a fuck ton, just in general.
Because what would like it? Let's say just take a week. What would the sort of a week schedule look like for you as far as flying between? What were the parts that were so intense?
Um, so the weekends were always parties, of course, like doing shows. Uh, in the beginning, I was like literally like when we still did a lot of shows in Holland, just in Holland, because then we could drive everything. In the Netherlands, then it was sometimes like 3 shows a night. So it was like we started at like Thursday or Friday, and then from Friday to Sunday, and then eventually we went international, and then it just went from like flying on Thursday or Friday and then flying like it's just
Yeah.
a lot of flying, it's
Yeah.
just like so, but most of the time Monday and till Wednesday was kind of slow, or just time to make music or time to recover.
Hmm.
Most of the time I took time to recover, because like that was also a problem, that one of the reasons why eventually I quit was because I couldn't set myself to work on music anymore, because I was just overly tired constantly.
Yeah. And obviously, the music has always been at
Factor that driven everything.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, what about the pressure that comes with making music? Did you ever experience that? You know, like
No, of course, yeah. I understand what you were gonna say. It's like, yeah, when I was my artist myself, I understood that like I was like broke through with a sound, and then I had eventually success with a different sound that I made, and it's just all like these little boxes, and then you want to exploit like it's hard because you have kind of success with this little thing, and then
yeah,
you're like, okay, now I need to exploit this and just
make it 10
milk this,
times. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
milk this till the ground.
Yeah,
But if you do that too long and you're not focusing on like next thing,
yeah,
then you're like stuck in it.
yeah.
So it's like it's just a hard balance, and I had massive, like I'm gonna admit I had massive troubles like balancing that kind of like how much do I dedicate towards this sound and then
Yeah.
move on towards the next one. I think every artist struggles with that, especially at a young age that I was. It's just, and I had no guidance. That was the whole problem. If I look back right now, it's just I was so stubborn. Like I'm this. Luckily, I'm changed. Like, but I was ridiculously stubborn. Like my dad, like tried to advise me, and my mother, and like friends, and like I tried managers and everything, and it just didn't work with me because I just so incredibly stubborn. Because I just um thinking like this 20-year-old thinks that like I could do my business myself, you know, like what
Mm,
how hard is it?
yeah,
You know, like it's always my mindset, and it just in some situations it really helped
yeah.
because like um I just never faced away from anything, you know, like I just made things work.
But
That was the
don't you?
beautiful thing about it. But like the other hand was like, of course, I fucked up a lot of deals about it as well because I just didn't let people do
Yeah, yeah.
their magic.
Because I was about to ask, don't you think that that also, as annoying as it probably is for people watching you, attributes to a lot of your success? The reason why I ask, I DJ'd for a while and produced as well,
Uh huh.
and I noticed in myself at some point, hence the quarter life crisis,
Mm-hmm.
that okay, I lacked the self belief in myself to say, okay, I'm gonna make it as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I've noticed from talking to artists around me in particular, they all believe in it
100%.
100%.
Yes.
So yeah, on the one hand, I can imagine that it's probably to some extent self-destructive, but at the same time, probably also attributes to a major part of your
Yeah, no, it
success.
helped, of course. Like, yeah, I believed in myself 110%.
Yeah,
And I still do to this day.
yeah,
I still, like, yeah, just your upbringing in a way of, like, at least my upbringing in a way is like, there's one guy responsible for your success, and that's yourself, you know? Like, so it's like, if I want to make something happen, it has to start with me.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, and then of course, like right now, I've like, yeah, you've been in this building. It's for the viewers, you can't see it, but like I've started this building with two other friends, and we were in a very small studio, like building, like maybe a little bigger than my own studio right now. It's just my own office, but a little bigger. And we were with the three of us there, and we were there for months, and it just they took me from my because like I had this period that of course I retired, and then I started working from home, and um yeah, things happened, but it was not doing that well.
Mhm.
It was a very dark time for myself because I understood that I still wanted to keep working in the music industry, and I understood that I want to build my production company that
Mhm.
I currently still have. But I was in this like doubt phase, like where you're saying like I was in this doubt phase that I am like, am I able to do this fully? You know, like, is this something that I can like build on? You know, or is this like the threshold, or is this the roof of like the? Am I
Yeah,
stuck
yeah.
to on this level? So I was in a very in a bunch of doubt, and yeah, my two friends just and my wife just kept motivating me in a way of like, yeah, you can, you know, like, so yeah, massive credit to Daniel and to Martijn and to my wife Sonia for just keep having faith in a way in me, or keep pushing me.
Mhm.
And yeah, then when we were in that building, then eventually stuff started to happen for me as well. Like our production company started working, if I started growing, I started become like I had a massive success with a record with Kids for Kids. You know, like we sold 180,000 physical copies, so that was like a very
Yeah.
very big success. So that kind of kickstarted my production company, and then eventually I was fortunate enough to have like the opportunity through friends again. You know, so I'm just very blessed with like how many people are around me that just bring opportunities, and I don't search for them; they just bring it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I'm like, I take it.
Yeah.
You know, like, we started here with literally like two studios, and upstairs the studio was completely empty. You know, like nothing was in here. You see this massive studio right now with like
Yeah.
gear all over it. It was just an empty room with a desk in it, and I started working here again, like building everything because the money was completely low again because I
Yeah.
drained everything
Yeah.
because to make this happen, so I had to build again,
Yeah.
and then I started building again. But like from that's that's the one thing I learned from it is like from also like stop retiring as a DJ and like losing pretty much everything again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just learned that um that's the most that gives me the most confidence. Like I would never lose confidence again the rest of my life. The reason why is like I built something from nothing to something, then lost it again,
Mm.
and then built something from nothing again.
Mm-hmm.
So you built through like,
Why do you refer to it as losing it?
well, it's losing it in a way of like, of course I stopped it, so it's not really losing it, but like you're used to like, I think everybody can resonate this with you. When when you live kind of you have you put yourself to a standard. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
get used to your lifestyle. You get used to certain things,
Mm-hmm.
and losing that is ridiculously, or setting yourself back is ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
It just mentally it's hard, but also like you can't do stuff anymore. Like you want to go for dinner 5 times a week, forget it.
Yeah.
Before I stopped DJing, I did that like literally. I was 6 days a week in a restaurant,
Yeah.
6 days a week in a restaurant. So it's like, and literally pretty much could do anything I want
Yeah.
the whole time. You know, like I'm not saying I was some sort of weird millionaire, but like I could like my life was kind of stress free in a way. You know, like financially
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
so as an 18, 19, 20 year old.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like and then setting yourself back and then having like €100 a week,
Yeah.
for instance, just throwing out a number, but from like unlimited, or feels like unlimited.
From safe to
Yeah, from
nothing.
saves to oh fuck, how do I make this next month work?
Yeah.
That's a setback, and doing that purposely
Yeah.
is some people call you crazy,
Yeah.
like literally crazy. They're like, you're why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Because it was not that the shows were like, it was not that I run out of shows.
No.
I could still do shows.
So why did you do it?
So why I stopped was like there was a bunch of factors. Like it was like um just the growth. Like there was like like there was a bunch of factors. Like like I was tired of it. I wanted to stop it. Like my agency was like, where's the growth? Like if you want to continue, you have to invest in this. You know, like in your career, and just hire PR or stuff like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
um don't sit on the money and all that stuff. And I just there was also this crisis back then, you know, with the house market
Yeah.
in 2010, 2011 or something like that, but that also hit the club industry because people just had less money, you know. So it's
Yeah.
like you saw DJs or artists in general, their fees cutting in half, and like um just a bunch of factors that like just all came together, and it just eventually was enough.
Yeah.
You know, it was like yeah, we just have to cut this and just stop it completely. And of course, I just still I had a brief moment that I looked around like, hey, maybe different agents or a different perspective of how I do this.
Mm-hmm.
But I was quite fast to realize that research was pointless.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I just had to stop it and just build something from the ground
Yeah.
up again. And luckily, I could continue in the music industry and like use my network,
Yeah. Exactly.
because there was like I built this massive network that I still use today
Yeah.
over the years that I was active as an artist, and I just I loved it. You know, like being in contact with them again and just having
Yeah.
like because a lot of guys in the industry, of course, are also my friends. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
right now working with them on the back, like I'm working on the background of them, but just working on them or on their companies or on their
Yeah. Yeah.
advising them or stuff like that. It's just that gives me so much more energy than back then doing shows or working on myself or working on my own brand in
Yeah.
a way. And I work on my own brand right now, but just on my production
Yeah.
company
Exactly.
or just on my building or like whatever. And I like to work more on like that's just something that I noticed. Like as a brand, if you are the brand, it's trapped inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you work always on yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I tend to make it a lot easier when I work on, let's say,
Project.
there's an iPhone here or something like that. You know, like that's just my preferred like. But you have to learn that.
Yeah.
It's just try and error kind of
Yeah.
thing, and I just excel more into if it has like if it's a project that like has a start date and end date, then I excel a lot more
Yeah.
than if I just keep on building in the unknown.
Yeah. Because I can't imagine, or I mean, you already said it a little, but as far as the response, right? For most, that is the dream. What you were living the dream as
Yeah,
far
a
as
lot for a lot of guys.
DJing.
Yeah, a lot of guys told me that I'm completely nuts.
Yeah.
That I stopped it, or like the most question that I got when, especially when I retired, of course, from it was, "Don't you miss it?
Yeah.
Don't you miss it?" I get this question till today.
Yeah.
Till today.
Would have asked it as well.
Yeah, don't you miss it?
Yeah.
Literally, like everybody, like because like had some sort of success, you know. So
Hmm.
it's like, and there's levels to success because I had some sort of success, but I work with guys that are 10 times more successful than I was back then, but whatever. Doesn't matter. I had some sort of success that like a lot of people dream of. And um don't you miss it? Not one single day till
Yeah.
today. Like since I stopped all those years ago, I'm not missing it at all
Yeah.
because it's just maybe it's my character, but also I just for me it really feels like a book that is closed.
Yeah.
And if it like at least I am, if I read a book and it was a nice book, I just put it on the shelf there to see it as a memory and see like, hey, we did that. But I don't pick it up again and just
No,
start like
exactly.
reading it
It's
again
done.
because yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's a if you like at least I have this. If I read a book and it's a great book, then the second time you read it, of course you read it differently, but it's not the same
No.
because the freshness is of it.
Yeah.
You know, so and that's kind of what I have. So I'm let's just leave that book there because I know it's just when I start reading this again, it's gonna be a shit show again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like and not in a way that I'm not like I think if I would launch myself as an artist again, probably would have some sort of success again because I know the steps to how to build it
Hmm.
and my network, of course. So that's always a cheat code in every industry.
Yep.
But yeah,
I mean that. Yes, it's a cheat code once you have it, I guess. But at the same time, it's not like that was there when you were born,
no, no,
right?
no,
You
no, no.
needed to.
I built
You
it.
had.
So yeah, I had to build that stair.
Yeah.
But if you like, that's the beauty about like when you like compound your network or just build your network in general. It's like that's the reason why network probably is the most valuable. Having good relationships is probably the most valuable thing you could have
Yeah.
in business in general. Is or in your life in general
Mm.
because so many opportunities came just through friendships or just good relationships. Um, is that there's always a stair to build on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just put everybody I just want to push everybody into always work on your network and always work on your relationships because there's one day that probably you could use that stair
Yeah. Exactly.
or not use it, walk it together with that person, you know, like it just helps so much. And if like I saw this the other day like on I think it was TikTok or something like that. It's just a friend that helps and is influential or like influential in your life. I'm not saying like as an influencer or
Yeah.
something like that, but
Yeah.
just influential in your life. Their push is so much more stronger than if you pay somebody.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I fully feel that
Yeah.
because if I would help somebody here from the office, I would help them way more, even if they pay me, because we're friends,
Yeah.
than if somebody just random in the across the world pays me some ridiculous fee, and I need to help them,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's way more like it's the emotional part is of it. Like
Yeah. You care.
I kind of
Facing.
care,
Yeah.
like because I still like friends you want to see tomorrow again.
Yeah.
Somebody that you do business with, and if they like just say here's a bunch of money and do this, at the end of this, when you did this, if you don't see them ever again, it's kind of okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, so like I push everybody to work on friendships and relationships in general. Just don't let, like, I'm not saying like be fake about it, not at all. just
No,
just but
but yeah, just
to
genuine.
work on them, because it's just the most valuable thing probably you will have in your life.
Speaking of valuable things, at some point you became a dad.
Yes.
How did becoming a dad change you?
Ridiculous amount. I became a lot softer in a way, um because normally, like beforehand, I was like way more, a way bigger ego, and just everything that you could say as a man, most men have, just become softer in a way, but just only for them, of course. Like just in general, like not through my life I'm softer at all. Like just more like what I noticed for myself is just the immense patience that I have, and the love and the warmth that I feel, and the kind of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the biggest, like the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drive is the most in the drive for her to set up everything, and
Nice.
yes, most important.
So obviously the podcast is called the Quarter Life Crisis.
Yes, I
We
felt that.
already spoke about it a little.
Yes,
Did you have a quarter life crisis?
in a way I did, but it was probably like quarters, of course. Like yeah, no, I completely did. I
Yeah.
completely did. So when I, of course, retired from DJ life, uh,
Hitting
I
rock bottom.
hit a rock bottom in a way. Like yeah, I've experienced quarter life depression, or like
Yeah.
just the rock that you feel, or the wall that you walk against, is just massive, and
Yeah.
it's just I think it's in a way, um I think it's the best thing that some people could face, because it
Yeah.
just gives you, like, at least, okay, look, it could go two ways. Like I've seen this both going both ways. One, it hits you. You sit like there, like let's say you give it 3 months, you completely don't do shit with your life or whatever, and that's great actually, because if you're not doing anything, there's something natural probably coming into your body that says we need to do something. There's some sort of itchiness that you need to
Yeah.
find something out. That itchiness you don't like, that's the perfect reason to find out what it is,
Yeah.
what itches.
Yeah.
So you have to do, in that period of time that it itches a lot, you just have to find out, like you have to do a bunch of different stuff. Like just not one thing, just a bunch of different stuff. And then if you do that bunch of different stuff, then you know, like, hey, uh that's not it for me, and that's it for me, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then if you found it, and that itchiness kind of goes away into drive and into motivation and into, like, you wake up out of yourself at like 6 a.m. in the morning, and you want to just jump on your desk and just burn
Yeah.
out this extreme, like, you want to work like this natural 60 hours a week come, then you know you're in the right path.
Yeah.
And then you just have to double down on it.
Yeah.
And then you build on that. And then, but in that period before that, so then when you're in your quarter life crisis, you don't do anything with your life at that moment, or you're just finding out. I think, like, some people say that, yeah, stop being lazy and do something. But in a way, like, I think it's good to let that itchy feeling come, and
Mm-hmm.
then use it as. But yeah, I've seen it also go the other way, that people just get stuck and they completely get stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen also go the other way.
Because exactly that. I think what I've now understood that in most cases happens is you're sort of okay. School's done. Now you've sort of
Real life
you've
happens.
got to make
Yeah,
a choice.
yeah, real life
And I
happens.
think a lot, even though it's not entirely true, but I think a lot of people feel like that first decision is sort of career defining.
Yeah, they think it should be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem to have always been, or from what I understood at least, you were able very clear, okay, now we're going to try this, now we're going to try that.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice when it comes to sort of making that decision as far as doing? Because just do is, I think, a good tip, because a lot of people just think,
Yes.
but sort of that step before that, that converting towards
Yeah, of
taking
course, the doing
action.
part is very important because if you don't do, you never know.
Yeah.
But that step before is just like, well, yeah, this sounds like completely like being floaty in a way, but like you just have to feel, like you have to feel in a way, like what resonates with me, like what are my interests, what is um like like I have, like, if I would, like, let's say people that work for their dads, for instance. Like I had this opportunity when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like go work in my dad's company and just build the years and eventually get a good position or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just already the thought of it just made me miserable in a way,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and it has nothing to do with my dad or the
Yeah.
company.
No.
Nothing to do with him. It has to do with me.
Yeah.
So it's like just feel, really feel, and just, yeah, just like if you for instance, some people go on vacation or like do a road trip or whatever, and but I like, for instance, why I never did that, I didn't have the time because I was like from 17 on I was just flying, but like why I would probably never do that myself is because I have always the feeling that like that's completely just no research, that, so don't bind me on this, but like a lot of people have, especially in the quarter life crisis, have the feeling of running away,
Yeah.
running away from like that. And that's not having a road, like, has nothing to do with the road trip, but some people do, of course, a road trip. But in a way, or if that is video games, or, and I had this as well. Don't get me wrong. Like I've been through this whole fucking thing. I played video games as well to an extent of hours that I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with myself? Like,
Yeah.
so I've did that too. So it's
Yeah.
like just, and it helps like drifting away from real life. So it's
Yeah.
like if you're having a tough week and you just play video games for 2 3 hours, it does help you drift away from it. So
Yeah.
no, so I see. I'm not against it at all. It's just like if you're in that quarter life crisis and you want to do that step before the doing part, you just have to stop like drifting away or get your mind away from
Yeah. Yeah.
where actually the
Stop
feeling is.
distracting yourself.
Stop distracting yourself from what is actually the feeling that you want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying this very easily here right now. Like if I had done that in that time,
Mm-hmm.
and I did, but like not to the extent that I would probably do it
Yeah.
today. And I'm a lot older right now, and I've walked that path already.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to tell younger people like, hey,
Do that.
just maybe cut down a little bit on the video games, cut down a little bit on the going to the bar and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and just like don't stop doing it, just cut down a little bit on it and just be present with like, hey, if I research these things and I'm completely in search of what I want to do with my life, if I research all this stuff, what is that what resonates with me, like, and
Yeah.
that's and that's very easy to tell me, you guys, like, hey,
Yeah.
just do that, and probably they'll look at this and they're like,
Yeah.
fuck that, I'm gonna go back to what I'm doing. And I understand that because I did that too as well, but I just like, if I just reverse engineer what I did, most of the time when I figured out what I wanted to do, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Just cut down on all the other stuff, or like completely on all the, like, be a very lonely guy for a second,
Yeah.
because like just had to be completely. And most of the time that helped me because when I traveled, I was always alone.
Yeah.
So I had hours and hours and hours and hours of being alone
Yeah.
in hotel rooms and all that stuff. So then you start talking with yourself a lot. And in a way, also that's kind of could be destructive. Also, I've lost myself a couple times talking to
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
but because you doubt,
Yeah.
and there's nobody that tells you, no, no, don't doubt about it.
Yeah.
So and there's this voice in your head where you talk with, at
Yeah.
least I have it, and it guides me. Right now, he's matured, But back then, when I was 20, 21, 23, he was not matured,
No.
and I was not matured as well. So
Yeah.
it's like we're having this 20-year-old conversation with each other that there was no good advice at
No,
all.
exactly.
So it was like it's just
Would you go as far as saying that this sort of hitting rock bottom for you was even necessary?
it was 100%. Like I spoke to my mom a few days ago, and we talked about it. We're laughing about it like now, but we both agreed. Like she saw it from the outside, completely helpless. Completely, but she saw it from the outside. She was like, "Yeah, you being like at 23, stopping and just having through that period of 4 months, was because it was around
Yeah.
4 months that before I figured out
What it is. Yeah.
what it is, and when I started picking up my ass again and go full work mode again.
Yeah.
But those 4 months, yeah, you say right now 4 months sounds long, right? And at that time, it felt forever.
Yeah, yeah, I can
At
imagine.
that time, I felt like, whoa, this takes forever.
Yeah.
But if I look back at it right now, it's like nothing.
Yeah.
4 months, nothing.
Yeah.
And so if somebody tells me like, hey, it took me 4 months to find something out, I'm like, it's nothing.
No.
Good, congrats, because right now you're having 30 years to work on it.
Yeah, there's some people that are working for 25
Years,
years and they still
years,
don't.
years, because they got trapped.
Yeah.
A lot of people get trapped because a lot of people are like, and I get it, like there's
So
financial.
what's the secret to not getting trapped then?
What you do, for instance, like when I hear entrepreneurs talking or people that want to build themselves in corporate or anything like that, like it's not giving them the time to set themselves up correct. That's the problem. I see a lot of people that just go with the first opportunity, as we spoke earlier, and just think like I have to grind this out
Mm-hmm.
and completely be miserable and get themselves trapped. So they only have, like, let's say 4 hours downtime a week to
Mm.
actually work on the dream. And it's just not enough,
Yeah.
like it's just not enough. So if make it happen however you want to make it happen. Just if you need to cut down on cost, you need to cut down on cost. If you're 20 or 19, you cutting down on cost is nothing.
Yeah.
It's literally like it's a joke. Like you could still be with your parents, you could still be uh finding a cheaper room to rent, or like don't go to the bar that much, or don't buy that video game or
Yeah.
whatever. It's easy to cut down on cost, or just when you're 2019 and you like just set up your hours that you just give yourself more time to work on the dream.
Yeah.
And just that's like now I'm 31 and all that stuff. Yeah, that's different. Daughter, house, building, studio, company, blah 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 blah. Bunch of responsibilities that I can't say like, hey, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like I can, but
That
I
wouldn't
still
be.
can.
Yeah.
I still can. Just the problem is that I drag a lot of people with me,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I don't want to do that because I care a lot about them. So
Yeah.
it's like, but when you're 20, 21, just just don't be too obsessed with like, hey, I'm need to make 100 grand a year.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like if you can, please do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Please do. But if you're getting yourself trapped into some 35,000 or 30 or 25,000 or 10,000 thing, and it just takes too much time. I'm not saying you don't make money. Please make money, because you need to learn the real life, like cost, all that stuff. Shit is hard.
Yeah.
Just give it a ratio, like if you make 25,000 a year,
Yeah.
but it takes you 60 hours a week,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not the right balance, my friend.
No.
Like you need to find something else, or just find yourself to get that kind of relaxation into your life, so you could work on whatever you want. Or if you make 25 grand in 60 hours a week and you fucking love it, keep
Mhm.
fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Like just
Fair.
that's kind of where I'm in that position, that I'm just, and that's kind of where, like, and that's the beauty about all, like, we're friends, like the friends around me and like people around me and my parents and all that stuff. It's just I always had people around me where it's very open to discuss financials
Yeah.
with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the healthiest thing to do. Have friends and people that you can trust and just discuss finance.
Yeah.
It's just money in general. What is money? What can we do with money? And it sounds like I'm having tons and tons of money, and that's just not the case.
Yeah.
It's just, but I do have enough to not stress, and that's kind of where that's step one.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
you know?
I have two more questions.
Yeah, no worries.
One is, if you take music away from Jasper,
Hmm.
who's left?
I think loving dad, husband. I think somebody that's always willing to just build and work in general. Um, and yeah, music is my outlet, you know. So it's just like I should probably find then a different outlet of energy or like uh, stuff like that. But in general, like I just think it just stay me for a
Mm,
lot. I found a lot of myself in outside of music. Uh, but yeah,
nice.
music is a massively important part of my life. It's every time when you make music, you start with literally a blank sheet, and
Mm.
at the end of the day, there's a ton of music, and then you're like, how did I do that?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, it's like, and it's just every time when you just reverse engineer, you're like, oh, that's how I did it. But just most of the time when you're in that groove, it's just completely automatic
Yeah,
pilot. It's just like this thing drops on your head and just you translate through your hands and your
yeah,
ears, and just, and that's something magical that I think, yeah,
nice.
it's just something special. And everybody has that in, of not everybody, but like a lot of people have that through certain things. And then I think that's the most beautiful thing around.
Yeah. Final question: what does the future hold for you?
The future, I think just me keep building, you know, like I just like challenges, always challenges. And I think the most important thing. It's just I'm not like I'm a very horizontal developer in a
Mhm.
way. Like you have vertical development, and that's when you double down on one thing and just go 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 go. And in an extent, I like doing that, of course, with some sort of stuff. But I like to develop horizontally because I just love to do so much different stuff, just everyday different stuff.
Yeah,
And that's in music, but that's also outside of music. So it's just, yeah, future is for me is developing more horizontally, and maybe buying another building, or buying or investing into something, or building a different company that has nothing to do with audio,
yeah,
or something like that in the general of, because I think that excites me and gives me energy every day.
nice,
So it's like, yeah, those are probably the futures.
nice. I want to thank you so much for your time and your story. It's very inspiring.
Thank you. I try to. It probably like what I want to give like as a final word towards it. It's also I just, if you just do something that you feel like feels good, just keep doing it. Eventually, good stuff will come.
Yeah,
That's the final message that I want to give to it, and just always play at least always play the long game.
beautiful. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.